So it is not just about low carbon investment, but it's the whole package of providing the infrastructure that is useful for the society that really moves the developing countries toward the direction of low carbon yet sustainable development, developing society. And finally, and most importantly, we need to engage the private sector if we are very serious in scaling up the investment to low-carbon societies in developing countries. So this is an example from Indonesian geothermal case, and there's about 27,000 megawatt potential in Indonesia's geothermal sector. And we have used our arms like technical cooperation for preparation of master plans and concessional loans, very low interest long-term repayment loans for construction of high priority plants. But these resources are not enough to develop the 27,000 megawatts. So we have listened to the private sector on what would be the conditions necessary for them to take part in private sector power plant project in Indonesia's geothermal sector development. And then we sat down with the Indonesian government on how we could improve the IPP guidelines or the tariffs to attract investors from abroad. So these are the 6 steps that we think has a potential solution to linking the low carbon knowledge into tangible investment in developing countries. And finally, this is a really complicated diagram, but this is how we work in developing countries to tackle the dual needs of sustainable development and responding to climate change. If you see the right-hand side, the 2 goals are stipulated. And for mitigation, the sectors are really clear: energy, transport, forestry, waste management. We have been working with developing country governments traditionally in these sectors, and now we're trying to incorporate knowledge that is given by the experts and researchers. And if you see the left-hand side of this diagram, the tools that we have, again, is very broad. We have technical cooperation, financial assistance mechanism, and we have experience in doing policy dialogue, working with the private sector. We even have our own research institute. So the key now is in the middle. How can we absorb the advanced knowledge of the research community and municipalities like Yokohama and Kitakyushu on their strategic mitigation actions, and learn from the private sector on what kind of technologies are available for low carbon societies, and promote efficient use of resources even in the developing country context, together with reform of policy and institutions and use of new financial mechanisms, and also, most importantly, to raise the young generation and human resources in these countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Inada-san, for elaborating JICA's initiative for low carbon development. And now 5 presentations have been completed to explain this Japanese government new initiative. And already you may eager to ask questions, but please wait for a while until we listen to comments from distinguished discussants we have today. So let me first ask Professor Rizaldi Bo from Bogor Agriculture University of Indonesia.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I think we know all that forming low carbon society is not an easy task. It's very difficult because it requires change of our behavior, our lifestyle, and also policy reform. I think to some extent we also need to invest and use the high-cost technology to ensure that emission reduction can avoid the increase of the global temperature more than 2 degrees Celsius. And I know there are 3 actions that probably could be done by developing countries, to form the low-carbon societies. I think one, actually, to how to improve the current performance of the program that has been done. As we know that there are many programs which already lead into emission reduction, but the level of success is quite low. For example, we have spent a lot of money for rehabilitating degraded land, but the performance, the successful rate is still very low because of many reasons. And I think one of the actions how we can improve the performance of our current programs. And the second one is to accelerating the upscaling and the replication of good practices, which is already available on the ground. And through optimizing the use of the resources available at local and national. We know that there are limited fundings available outside, but we need to optimize the use of the local resources, how we can accelerate the upscaling and replication of the good practices. Of course, by inviting and synergizing the initiative done by the private sectors, NGOs, and the government as well. And the third is how to increase the use of low carbon technologies. And I think there are many technologies available which require very high costs. Of course, in order to allow the developing countries to do this, I think we also need to accelerate the transfer of technologies, and also to create more financing support mechanism for implementing this program, or implementing the high-cost, low-carbon technologies. I think development of the knowledge platform is quite crucial, to catalyze these three processes. So now the question in front of us, how we can make use of this platform to really able to allow and help developing countries, and also support from developing countries, how we can increase to accelerate transfer of technology, increasing and encouraging the synergizing of activities between private NGOs and government. And I think this question needs to be asked by all of us. And I think now the initiative that has been done by this, and I think it's quite crucial and very helpful how we can achieve the low carbon societies. And I think that's the point that I would like to mention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Rizaldi, for very useful intervention. And then may I ask Professor Jang Ki-jun. He is from China, and he is professor at Energy Research Institute of National Development and Reform Commission. So, Professor.
Okay, thank you, Marissa. I just want to mention about 3 points. By following the topic today, we hear about the presentation. The first one is I'm still thinking about the role of research. We are quite happy that we joined the research activity in Japan with many Japanese colleagues for more than 10 years or even 15 years. So from the beginning of AIM project, my fundamental understanding, just like the previous session, some people from the ground asked Patrick that why you say that the human activity is a major reason for the temperature increase or climate change. I think IPCC did a very good job, review all the study right now and try to answer so many arguments. It's the same story in China. Even by today, last week, when we have our internal meeting here in Beijing to talk about how much China should do for big effort for mitigation on CO2, still some people argue that this is not the human issues. Maybe climate change is not the game for us to play. But our fundamental, our idea is, okay, let's still do our research work, bring the idea for how for China to do mitigation, and in the near future, we have to peak our CO2 emission in order to support the global 2-degree target. We also disclose a lot of report, paper, just like Fujino-san mentioned about so many paper from AIM. That's a good way. We also have a lot of workshop together with policymakers, try to tell them this is the right way for China to go.